Well, winter is behind us, so it's time to start coming out of our cocoons and enjoy our outdoor spaces more.
Yeah, but with months or even years of neglect, they might not be looking that inviting.
Yes, like this one. I mean, you could look at this yard and think, gosh, there's a lot of work to do to get it into shape.
No, it's easy. With a couple of weekends put aside for some small jobs that anyone can do, we're going to easily transform this space for spring, summer and beyond.
I love how optimistic you are.
Hey, confidence, it's spring.
Hi, Kathy.
How are you?
How are you guys?
How are you?
We've just been admiring your backyard.
Not much of a backyard. It's a bit of a mess.
It was a very quick conversation.
What is it about the garden you don't like?
Yeah, there's a lot of weeds if you haven't seen.
Do you use the space a lot, though?
Not really.
Okay.
'Cause,
So we need to make
there's
something
a bit of reluctance to be in the backyard.
I'm just looking at the traffic. It's obviously quite a busy road, so maybe we could give you a bit more privacy from the street as well.
Yeah, no, that sounds
That would be
good.
nice.
Yeah.
I'm impressed there's been a bit of a crack at some veggie growing over
Yeah,
here.
I can see some carrots there, all looking good.
That was the COVID lockdown exercise.
Okay.
Yeah.
Doomsday prepping, I like it. Yeah.
And I think the deck obviously could do with a bit of a freshen up, maybe a bit of a paint job.
It is, but it's a good usable space.
Yeah.
The grass also slopes quite a lot as well. So, I mean, having 2 young kids, maybe if we can try and level that up, you might be able to use it a bit more.
No, that sounds good.
All right, so we'll get stuck into it and we'll see you guys back here at the end.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's heavier than it looks. I'm putting in a retaining wall at the end of the garden just to level it up and make it more practical. And you can see by the height of the exposed post, it's not going to be too high. It's only about 300 mil high. But that retaining wall over this short distance is going to make a big difference. Now, as a rule of thumb, if you haven't put a retaining wall in, you need some pretty secure posts. You need to go 2/3 in the ground to 1/3 out of the ground. So we're 300 high. My maths tells me it needs to be 200 deep. I am actually going to go a little bit deeper, though, just to make sure.
Baby, you and I, baby, we gon' make it to the end of time. This loving is forever, you should know by now. And I'ma always love you 'cause it's you.
So one of the obvious features in this backyard is the view of the road. Now, obviously, we can't actually get rid of it completely, but we can help obscure it. So we're going to use these screens. They're off the shelf from Bunnings that we've just trimmed down to size. And basically, we're going to put a little cover strip here on the front. So from this side, aesthetically, it'll look pleasing and allow us to screw the screens on from the back.
My heart is in your hand, just take me where you are, and we can go far now. 2 hearts beating now.
Okay, time for the screen to go in. Now, you see here that Sean's going to put some screws in the back.
Ever you should know by now, and I'ma always love you 'cause it's you and I. Ooh,
When you're building a retaining wall, there's a couple of things you need to remember. If you're going over 600 millimetres in height or closer to a boundary than 900 millimetres, you need to inform council. This is neither, so we're good to go. I'm using a treated pine sleeper. Now, these are lightweight, they're cost-effective, and they're really easy to work with. Standard height of a sleeper is 200 millimetres, but the width, these ones are 100 mil, which makes them really nice and chunky. If you go the smaller ones, say 50 or 75 millimetres, over time, they're going to warp, and I really want this wall to last. Bit of concrete, a bit more water.
we do it for the glory.
So time to turn our attention to this deck. You can see this jarrah stain was really showing its wear and tear. Now, we could obviously sand all this back and start from scratch, but we're actually going to change the colour, which will make this whole area really sing. So first things first, we're going to give the deck a really good clean down. We're going to make sure that we wet it down, give it a good scrub, and make sure it dries before we put our new colour on. So, Charlie, what do you want for Christmas? I'm only asking because it's taking you so long to get this done. We're almost there.
Ouch. First you said I was fat at the beginning and I needed to lose weight,
that.
now this.
I definitely did not say that. No, but I finished my project. I'm waiting for you guys.
So I didn't see you working up there behind your excellent screens.
It's because they obscured me so well. All right, I'm going to help the boys do a step.
biggest failure of retaining walls is water collecting behind them, building up pressure and pushing them over. If you've got a larger wall, you'd probably want something like an ag line just to get rid of that water, but because this wall is quite small, I'm just using blue metal. Now this is going to disperse the water and keep the wall upright.
This looks so much better. I mean, there was actually nothing wrong with this regulation height here. It was just a bit of an awkward sort of step up. Instead, by putting this step that wraps the whole way around, if you're walking down the side of the house, it's way more inviting to come up onto the deck this way, and so much nicer to be able to come out into the garden here. And also, it's like extra seating for the family. Brilliant. Just going for a nice, relaxing walk because I finished my second job for the day.
Oh, look, I'm trying. I'm going over,
You're doing quite a lot, though. This is
doing
quite
quality over quantity.
Yeah, true. Yeah, you've got me there.
I will catch up.
Yeah, I've got no doubt.
I will, I promise you. In the top part of the garden, I'm going to do a small paved area. That's going to extend the entertaining space and make the most of the garden. The best part about it is we don't have to dig any soil out because of the level change. I am putting in a footing. I'm just going to use some road base, compact that down.
Now, I know I promised you a colour change, and believe it or not, we are going from Jarrah to Beach House Grey. But you might be looking at this and thinking I'm possibly going a little bit crazy. But the grey will actually come out as the stain dries. With a couple of coats, it'll make such a difference.
With our road base in and compacted, we've got a really solid base for our paving. Now, I'm just using river sand, which we'll screed out to get our levels, and we can lay our pavers directly on top of that. Screeding doesn't have to be a difficult job. You're just trying to create a nice level spot for your pavers to sit on. We've got our step, which creates one level. We want that to be nice and flat, and we've got our retaining wall. It's important that the paving does this to get rid of the water going straight into the garden bed. Also, I've just used a couple of tin strips here to give me something to pull back on. The key to that is to do it nice and slowly so you don't gouge holes in your screed. For our new paving, I've selected a dark charcoal concrete paver. It harmonises perfectly with Joe's deck, but it's also nice and hard wearing. Now, concrete can chip if you butt the edges up, so I'm just putting in a small tiling spacer that we're then going to sweep some paving sand into.
Now, on the decking area, there's actually quite a bit of exposed brick, and we're not painting it. Instead, on one side, the end where the screens are, we're actually going to tie in those screens by hanging two wall features that will have both screens and actually a mirror inside. So first things first, we actually have to make the frame for the wall hangings, and that's easy. We just got to stick this smaller 30 timber on the 60, just on the inside of the round, just with a bit of glue, and then we nail it off. So next up, we're going to glue our 4 pieces of the frame together. We're not using nails. Instead, what we're going to do is glue them into place and then hold them with masking tape until the glue actually sets, and that will be plenty of strength. And then after that, we're going to give this and the backing board a coat of paint. These are just smaller screens than the ones that we've got out the back. We've just screwed it into our frame. But to make this the real wall feature, what we're now going to do is actually put a mirror behind here. First of all, a bit of double-sided tape, and then we're just going to do a little bit of silicone on this, secure the mirror to the backing board. not break the mirror. Do not break the mirror. Just check. Walking away.
Something out there to open my mind as time kept passing.
Charlie, these look gorgeous.
How good are they? Good height on them as well.
Yeah, speaking of height, what a difference just levelling out this backyard has made.
Yeah, but you can.
I know.
Brings in the road a bit more.
The road into play a bit more. And obviously, I mean, my screens look gorgeous, but they're not doing a huge amount to...
Don't put yourself down, Joe. You're doing enough. This is the water house here. We've got really good height out of a pot that's relatively small. You know, we've got a good 6 foot.
Collingwood 6 foot.
Okay, well, yeah, so maybe. But, you know, the thing I love about this tree is it's going to get really tall, but it can be kept narrow, so it's not going to interfere with the lawn.
OK, so you actually have to trim it back quite regularly?
The more you trim it, the better. So you basically want to take off what's called the apical dominance, which is the bud on the end.
Yep.
The more you do that, the bushier the plant will be.
Fantastic. We've got about 20 of these to put in, so we better get cracking.
Oh, is that all? But not too deep to rot my plants. No, not too deep to rot my plants.
What are you singing?
Thinking my hole needs to be a little bit deeper, but not too deep to rot my plants. You'll have to excuse me.
Is that the same song for this hole?
No, that hole's all right. That hole is fine, that hole is fine. Plant away, my dear. Beautiful. The planting scheme for this garden is all about being low maintenance and hardy. So for the bulk, I'm using things like this. It's a crassula called Bluebird, and then I'm pairing it up with fail-safe plants like the liriope and this one. This is called Limonium perezii. Now this loves hot baking sun. It flowers to give us a little bit of colour, but these flowers last for absolutely ages. You can even cut them off and take them into the house. I'm grouping the plantings in this top corner, and as the ground peters off because of our new retaining wall, I'm not wasting the money on planting that out.
Now, it might feel like a long time ago, but remember right at the start of this makeover, Kathy and Howard had 2 tiny little veggie patches that they were attempting on the side. Nice effort, but to be honest, very low to the ground. So we're actually going to replace them with these 2 fantastic planter boxer styles. They don't lose any of the space that they had, but it's a much better height to be able to pick and use in your cooking. So we've made this little frame, just 2 short pieces of timber, 2 long pieces of timber, screwed them together and painted them white. And then picked up these little tubs, and obviously we've measured it out, but they just fit in here. They've got holes in the bottom, so you don't have to worry about too much water being left inside of them. Look at that. Imagine when we plant this up, it's going to be a fantastic height. And then one down low for the kids. Now, I'm sure that Charlie would agree, but spring is a great time in the garden, but particularly if you're going to plant veggies.
I do agree.
Oh, thank goodness. So, look, we've got these local Bunnings. They've got a fantastic selection of beautiful herbs and veggies and all sorts of little seedlings. And here, we've just gone for a whole lot of different combinations of height and things that you'd use most often in the kitchen. So we've got parsley and we've got some kale, some English spinach, we've got mint, we've got some beautiful lemon thyme, coriander, chives. So we've just gone for a whole sort of different combination of heights. And look, even when you look at the back of the house, it just breaks it up so beautifully with these little strips of green. Would you like me to actually get said lawn as opposed to just standing here watching you throwing fertiliser around?
You could do. I could pretend there's more so I don't have to lump the lawn around. I'll just...
Jeez, he's a busy man, isn't he?
Look at that.
Beautiful.
Some delicious green.
Delicious greens, and you
Look at
have
that.
come through.
Yummy.
Yummy. What's this turf, Charlie?
This is Grange. It's a type of zoysia. Once it's established, super low maintenance, hardly uses any water, hardly uses any fertiliser. It takes a while to establish, but that's because it's slow growing.
Yeah.
Because it's slow growing, you don't need to mow it as much.
But I love it. It's just like so intense,
It's
isn't it?
nice, isn't it?
Feels so nice.
The one thing it doesn't like is water in its roots.
OK.
So, hence why we turn that big pile of sand into our underlay. About 100 mil is perfect.
Yep.
Lay this on top.
And so when you say not much fertiliser, so that fertiliser you put underneath, that's enough for this now?
Yeah.
Oh, how easy is that?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Why can't I see anything? Feels like I'm out on everything.
Hey!
Hi.
Hi. Wow. Wow.
Wow.
Beautiful.
You got a nice little area you can sit out in the balcony now?
Oh, for sure, yeah. Read a book and
Yeah.
relax, get away from the kids.
So we've gone for a low maintenance garden
Yeah.
to suit your lifestyle. All the plants are really easy to care for. You just need to make sure you keep your herbs and veggies well watered.
Okay. I like how the stagger is over there, the paving and the grass.
Well, the idea was we didn't want like a harsh line,
Yep.
because that would just give you a definite this is
That's a
paving, this
nice
is grass. So
touch
it's
there.
just a nice way to integrate it, yeah.
So when we spoke to you before you left, we decided that you were pretty easy to keep happy, and I reckon it's a case of job done.
I think so.
Definitely job done.
Seriously, the easiest people we've ever actually done work for.
This guy just wants a strawberry.
If we'd known that, that would have been quicker.